couple of different reasons, really, for Ivy, for fighting for their relegation lives. And I mean, Into the Breach, they're not even guaranteed just yet as well. They also could be in threat of relegation, or if they get a couple more series wins and something goes their way.
I think they might be tied up on series if Ivy win this one. They would both be 2 and 4. So, yeah, very, very important.
So, let's see what the build is from the offlane ancient apparition, I should say.
I mean, one of the things that you've got going for you is that you still have one of the longest attack ranges in the game, right? Only beaten by techies, I believe. And then you've got Chilling Touch, which gives an attack range bonus on top of that. So I don't think you're going to be Ice Vortexing that much in lane, just because it's going to push the lane out. And I mean, it's a clock AA lane, not exactly something that you're wanting to have dive in too deep, right? A little squish. But if Immersion's able to catch people out with the cogs early on, they don't really have a way to be able to escape it when you consider the Doom, the Wind Ranger, and Immersion, as he's chasing Stoikov in this mid lane, ends up letting the Bounty Rune go over to Vincento, but it means Stoikov's already at half HP.
And what are our thoughts about this Queen of Pain last pick? Because we were kind of looking at as soon as we saw Zive playing the AA, we were speaking a lot about that. So how do we feel like Ivy have done with the Queen of Pain overall 24? Does this maybe fix some of their weaknesses? And is it strong enough to be able to take over the game and get that map victory?
I'm not so certain. I mean, it feels pretty decent in terms of building into these items like the Mage Slayer, into the Bloodthorn. It fits a lot with your toolkit. And again, especially when less BKBs are being bought, Quap's going to feel in a pretty good spot. But you also need to consider, like, it's mostly for the mid lane matchup, right? You just needed something that was going to be able to get away from this Primal Beast when he goes for an aggressive trample onto you.
Well, the fact that Stoikov went Scream level 1 to try and secure a couple of range creeps and hasn't been able to get them because of the uproar has to be a bit frustrating for him. Another nice thing that I at least like about the pick is just that they were lacking so much AoE damage, and now you're going to be able to provide that. A little bit of team fight, a little bit of nuke could potentially catch the Terrorblade off guard. We'll see how it's going to be able to come down to off the back of Stoikov's rotations, though. But what about some of the side? I mean, probably my attention is really going to be towards bottom. Top lane, it's just going to be meta cooldown. If that's up, then we could see them get aggressive, but bottom, that's... I want to see how this Ancient Apparition 3 shapes up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be looking at it around level 2 mark, just for when Immersion has the cogs, right? Because that allows you to combine together with the Cold Feet to potentially get some damage in onto some of these heroes if they get caught out. Probably level 3 is even stronger, right? If you choose to go a 1-1-1 build on Zibe, just to keep them inside the cogs, get a level 1 Vortex, increase the magic damage of like a level 2 Battery Assault, for example. That really feels like where they should be able to get a kill, even onto someone like an Enchantress.
Top lane, Cute should be our first blood. Great body blocks out of respect, and he's going to get a courier as well. So they didn't even need the arrow. It was just a beautiful play coming out from Into the Breach and the kind of poke and prod that we see often from the Mirana. Bottom lane as well. There's the cogs into the Cold Feet. Not going to get the kill onto Zani, but regardless though, it is a nice little chunk of damage.
I think they went for that as soon as he revealed the Adaptive Strike was the thing skilled up. So knowing that there's no waveform away, they're going to try and potentially do that again before level 3 comes out for the Morphling. And anything to just slow down his game is going to be a big win for them. Of course, they need to make sure that Zibek continues to farm as well. Top side, again, just using the reflection off cooldown. So low mana, kind of ridiculous, and they also slow the attack speed on the reflected target as well, so there's not even as much turnaround potential either.
I don't know if I've asked you, what's your thoughts on Blood Grenade? This new very, very cheap item.
You haven't asked me. Sorry, there's just a little bit of action down bottom and watch at the moment. Is Vincento gonna die? Yes, he is. I think it's okay. I mean, I think it turns an aggressive lane into like a 1 lane if you play it correctly. It's also good against TA, which always feels kind of good, but I don't know, I'm a little... Maybe it's just going to come into occurrence a little bit more off the fact that we don't have as many Mangos or Tangos or other things to be able to buy.
Whoa.
Supreme, this is an early rotation.
Level 4, brother. What are you doing up here? He's getting a couple kills for the boys. Supreme, great rotation. Now, this is the thing about the Dino, you're able to leave the mid lane, right? If you're having a rough time versus the Queen of Pain, you can look to get active and help out, and he's even going to be able to TP back and secure one of the water runes. So, man, Supreme off to a great start. Love that movement from him.
Probably will look to do something similar, to be honest. Like, clear out this next wave and maybe make a move elsewhere. Again, won't have a TP to be able to play around with. It's an early Urn as well, coming out from the AA, so even more way to deal a little bit of that damage over time. Of course, if you're playing against a Morphling, having AA is good, but Spirit Vessel as well feels pretty nice against him before he's able to get into that Manta. Just keeping track of Supreme and what he's going to be able to do with a lot of these movements. Seems like right now he's looking to try and just trample down a lot of these neutral camps. I was thinking he might look to build up the stack for it, just because it's not really like you wanting to go back to that lane all that quickly, but you're going to need to address it. It sucks to have to TP back towards mid, but Siege Creep wave is coming, so someone's going to need to address that. Maybe now they can go for another kill down bottom, right? Like, you've got 2 points Chilling Touch, you've got Cogs level 1, Battery Assault level 2. Thing is, Zani's got the waveform available, so it won't be onto the Morphling. That's why it's a good thing that Vincento is actually leaving this lane, because not too often you say this about an Enchantress, but he is the one that's actually going to be the most vulnerable in that bottom lane.
Supreme top lane again, another rotation. He's going to go for Cube because he recognizes they've got plenty of damage with the two other heroes to be able to kill off Addy, and he's having some difficulty though.
Legolas
from downtown. Well, just forces him to run back into the Dino instead, so Supreme should be able to get the chase down. The win run is back up. Is he going to go for the onslaught? Drops the ward to give the vision. Supreme's going to go for it, and Cute will not be able to dodge it. So, yeah, they're going to ping out like there's a ward on the high gun, but that is not the case. Beautifully done from Supreme. Another successful rotation.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Almost completely out of mana, though, on Respect. Looks like, I wonder what he's going to do here. Is he going to just look to play around the left-hand side? They don't see him patrolling over here, so might just look to set himself up to be able to steal away this Wisdom Ring.
Cube TPing down. I thought he was going to go straight away, so after that TP. No point in the Shackle. Couple in the Power Shot to provide the extra nuke, and they will be able to kill onto Immersion. They'd love to slow down Jibe's game, but Clockwork's doing a really good job.
He could just build up stacks for himself, though, and it seems like they're much more heavily prioritizing these Wisdom Runes. Like, Respect has just sat here for the past 50 seconds on the top side of the map. He's waiting for, as soon as it hits up to that 7-minute mark, he wants to seal it away, just to cement the strong early game that Into the Breach have had.
Keep in mind, no tomes now.
So, yeah, again, like, this is the thing I'm talking about. Clearly, this is something that Into the Breach have discussed among themselves. They put a much higher priority onto taking this away, and even potentially picking a hero that feels comfortable enough to be able to go onto the backlines. Arrow's going to be off the mark, though. Not connecting onto Addy. Still very healthy level. Already up to level 6 on a Taker as well.
They're going to go for Cube under the tower. One more right click. Again, Respect with the body blocks have been on point. A big reason why they were able to get the kill onto the Wind Ranger top, and meanwhile we saw bottom lane as well. Another kill for Into the Breach, so 8 kills to start this game, 1,000 net worth lead, and can they get the Queen of Pain though? Immersion won't be able to close the distance to play around with the Battery Assault, so Stoikov is going to be okay. Just aggression though, that's the name of the game for Into Breach early on.
It is. Arrow connects onto the Enchantress, praying for a power rune up towards the top side, and it's a DD as well for Supreme to be able to claim. I mean, the one thing that okay.
Oh, that's a shoot onto 3. You couldn't have asked for a better Ice Blast. Looks like they'll get cubed though. Stoikov with a defensive blink. Supreme was ready to crash into the middle, but wasn't able to find the more valuable hero.
He's in deep.
Yeah, not enough mana for the Sonic Wave just yet. Ooh, he's going to jump over the top. Reapplies the second dagger, and Supreme should go down as a result of this. Stoikov, he has committed incredibly deep though. Respect and Immersion, well, they're not going to be able to capitalize on that. Another jump over from Stoikov, so some much needed gold and experience, and yeah, well-deserved tip as well. Playing on the edge is the Queen of Pain.
It's what you need to do, because I am worried about something on Into the Breach, and that's the fact that eventually you're going to get to this point where it's actually pretty hard to lock down some of these heroes. You know, you've got a win range at level 30, so Coop knows how to play it. He's going to be able to use that win run to be able to get to safety. You've got the Blink on the Quap, you've got the Waveform on the Morphling, you've got Doom moving fast as hell. And no real reliable stuns coming through outside of Supreme, like getting a perfect onslaught into a Pulverize, right? It feels very single target focused, where if you're able to save that one person that gets gone on, it becomes a little bit more difficult for you to actually take the remainder of the team fight. The Taker's still doing a great job on this top side though, and I mean, when you've got someone like this Mirana, I'm sure that she's a little cautious of the fact that Addy's now level 6, so might not want to play in the lane just to run the risk of getting run down by the Doom, but you're a TB. You can look to farm some of these neutral camps up towards the top side, as looks like another kill should be claimed onto Vincento as a version just sniped the rockets. Okay, he's a little deep.
Yeah, I mean, Immersion was able to just lock him in, and with the level 1 blink, another round wasn't going to be up shortly. Kind of the big thing when you go from 4 points in Shadow Strike. This is a lane-dominating build, and once the lane is over, you're going to have a lot of difficulty with playing out of the map. You're going to be very cautious. And
I mean, overall in net worth, you would say that the Quap's done reasonable in the lane against the Primal Beast, but that's not what you're concerned about. The TB's getting a little bit too far out of control, where you might be able to get active a bit sooner before the Morphling's able to get into that Aghanim Scepter and really look to counter him.
He could counter that himself. I mean, we're probably going to see Otake go for a pretty early Skadi, but if he wants to consider like a Lincoln's or an attack speed item to mitigate some of the Sepnir effectiveness, regardless, they're into the breach. Doesn't seem like they got information of that. Ooh, the pusher. Shouldn't matter though. They've got the Pulverize and plenty of trample damage to follow up afterwards, so Addy's going to go down off the back of the smoke. Beautifully done from into the breach. They're able to continue to hold this top side of the map.
Actually, just sticking with the Urn charge on, the Urn on Zibe. Looking to go into the Greaves after this one. So again, go on that Aura build that you were talking about, feeling like Into the Breach needed, but goes a little bit further away from the Morphling stopper, you know? You just need to try and find a way to be able to find him out on the map, and maybe he feels Morph got too much out of that lane.
They got the hook shot? No, still on cooldown. Regardless, Vincento might be in trouble. Otaker's, yeah, gonna pop the meta from afar. And with respect, jumping over the top as well. He doesn't have any more leap charges to work with. Now Stoikov should be able to get the return kill. With detection?
Oh.
He's gonna tick out, I think, to the dagger anyway. Raindrop will not save you, my friend. He wants the neutrals. Wow, unable to leap over there. So they get the kill into the Mirana. Really nothing too crazy, though. Seems like at the moment, you got to see into the breach. I mean, it's 1,000 net worth lead, but you weren't able to punish the Ancient Apparition inside the lane. So Jibe's off to a good start. You've already mentioned the Terrorblade, who is a scary position in the net worth. So when are we going to feel really the strengths of this Ivy early game?
Well, the thing is, they are doing a fairly decent job of splitting things up, right? Like, Cooper's taken a lot of farm in that lane just because Morphling has been able to back off into this this jungle area down towards the bottom side. He's taking a few more of those camps, taking the, what is this called? The well area at the moment with Zani. So it just means that you're getting a much more even spread of net worth across all of your heroes. He's actually going into an MKB on Q.
Speaking of Q, gonna be the initial target here for the Pulverize. Simultaneous to respect. He's taking the brunt of the force as well from the Queen of Pain. Stoikov should be able to finish him off with the dagger.
Lotus.
Oh, he's chilling.
Mech will do it.
Yeah, Mech will indeed do it.
An Urn charge, probably. As he looks to escape. Maybe not. Only got 2 charges to play with.
So it just seems like a bit more of a passive game from Ivy. I mean, you've got this Morphling who's trying to find his farm compared to a Terrorblade. He can get involved a little bit earlier. I mean, we see Otaker's even farming nearby. Meta's still on cooldown, but if required, he's going to be able to help out. But you've got this Doom as well, who had a bit more of a rougher lane, but 3 points Devour. Midas now completed. We'll see Addy. He's going to be looking to try and play the long game, trying to get those late game items, Scepter, Refresher, Octarine, any other crazy stuff that he wants to have the impact. But I'd be happy with the slow pace game that we've got right now.
Yeah, and I'm wondering when, like, Coop is actually going to look to get active, right? Like I said before, he's gone basically straight MKB to be able to counter this Terrorblade with all of that magic damage. But can he look to do something with the Javelin at this point in time? Or are they just really valuing giving him a lot of this free farm in the lane to accelerate him to an item that maybe Into the Breach aren't expecting? It's not like they've got great push either. Who it is? Oh yeah, Otaker.
What?
Man's farmed.
Dude, he's so rich.
Ivy's looking to see with Cube if they took that Wisdom Rune, and they did. He's going to back off. Really feels like both teams are trying to greed this one out. But TB just has so many tools to do it.
Still, Stoikov might be in trouble, actually. Zani's going to be able to cancel the stun, but it holds to be placed long enough for the Ice Blast. All they needed was a little bit of control, and once again, Jibe has been on point with his ultimate usages, so slowing down this Queen of Pain, and you've maxed out the Shadow Strike, and as a result, your farm has been hindered, and we see that showcasing in the net worth. Lowest out of all the cores. Now, Addy's in some trouble as well. We're going to be able to get a glimpse of him running up to the northern side. Supreme can easily close the distance. Cube's going to try and lay in some protection, but yeah, he can't. He's like, all right, let me leave. He will just escape through the portal.
Chase him. They're going for it. They've got the vision that they're coming down with the observer wards placed there, and, well, they're going to guess the wrong way.
And they might go for Stoikov. Of course, they, like you said, had vision. I have a great cliff ward as well to look to utilize. They'd love Stoikov instead of Vincento.
Ooh,
just shot, unfortunately, once again, going to be off the mark for Merchant Supreme. Just going to crash into Vincento, though. It's pretty deep under the T2 tower. Zani's going to be enabled in the team fight now that they've used all their spells. A huge Sonic Wave, and now look at the wrap around Cube. Well, he's come back over for the right side. The backs up should be able to pay off as immersion. Well, he's got Jibe nearby to be able to pump in some of the damage as well. Good look for the deny. Ajani, though, will be able to take that out of the equation, but some much-needed gold given over to the Morphling. We've been seeing a lot of the praises for Otaker and the start he's had in his farming pattern, but that double kill for the Morphling is going to allow him to close the distance a little bit in regards to the net worth.
Yeah, you'd have to wonder if Ivy know that this high ground is warded as well, just because of the way that they went for that attempt. And, well, something that's going to be a bit of an issue for both teams, maybe a bit less so Ivy, because they've got the Enchantress to be able to play around with, but they don't really have great ways to take towers outside of their cores. You know, like you said, the Shadow Strike build means that you're shoving out waves a little bit slower. He's got maxed out Scream of Pain now, but it really is on the back of that Morphling and the TB that any towers are going to fall down. They haven't taken a single tower yet on Ivy, even towards that top side, which you would assume is a tiny bit easier. It was around that uber farmed TB that bot ended up going down. So for me, I think Otaker, as soon as he finishes up this Skadi, needs to be playing a lot more active. Like, play on the bottom side of the map, or just around whatever objective they feel is valuable at that time of the game. Whether it's, you know, Roshan, if it's during nighttime towards the top side of the map, maybe it's going to be around that 20-minute point, so that they can go into the Rosh, claim that one from 20 minutes onwards, then push into the bottom side, open up a bit more of the jungle for supports and others to be able to play around and pick up their farm, and then rotate through mid, do the same there, and close off some of the map. But you've got to make sure that you're doing it quickly, because, again, Morphling is working towards, eventually, the Aghanim Scepter. He's just got the Manta style for now, but TB becomes so much weaker once he's able to pick that one up. And I don't think you can afford to farm a Lincoln's before you look to try and perhaps get a little bit more onto the front foot.
Vincento? Looking to try and be up to his own shenanigans, trying to block the Ancients, but he should tick out to the damage over time. I mean, Jibe is even going to find another attack, and simultaneously, Supreme again is being such an issue with this Primal Beast. Always up in their face, always inside Radiant side of the map, and just support's still bleeding the lives. At least it's not caused, though. Like, Zani's still finding farm, but...
You see in this this Kobold, so Respect chose the trusty shovel, and now he's got a little Kobold friend following him around. You get control of that Kobold as well. Even gives you the prospecting aura as well, so a little bit of extra GPM. You can actually use that to deny runes as well, this little one that you've stolen, but he does so little damage that it actually takes two its hits to deny a bounty rune, for example. Yeah. For whatever reason, only bounties. You clear power runes with one hit. Don't ask me why. It just is.
It'd be, I guess you can even use it to block some camps as well if you want to even be that much of a...
Sure. Poor guy's going to
Pain
die
in the
though in
side.
5 seconds.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, he's done his job though. A little bit of goal for respect.
No.
Dire's
Go
top
Baldy.
tower is under attack.
Oh my god.
But Oteka
Ivy.
very close to that Skadi. 300 gold away. You've got BKB as well on Supreme. He's looking to find a quick pick
They
off.
see Zani. Hang on. Nice. Well, it's going to be off the mark, but he waveform straight to Supreme. Come here. Big old bear hug from the Dino. And now they've got Oteka as well. It doesn't have the Skadi, but it's not going to matter. Completely out of strength to continue shifting into. And that is going to be a free tier 2 tower as well that goes the wave into the breach without any way for Ivy to contest it.
He just didn't run to his boys. He ran exactly way into the breach. We're looking to save him as Supreme. He's looking for another. Just trying to find out this sneaky little Enchantress looking to play on the bottom side using that Observer Ward to perfection. I really feel like teams need to be using these side lane cliff wards a lot more because there's multiple times in those previous series that we've been casting that someone would have been caught out off the back of this. It really feels like mid lane past the 10 or so minute mark has lost an incredible amount of value.
Hang on, there's a Scepter on a Queen of Pain?
Yep.
What'd they change?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I think this is the old something. It used to be... I forget what that Shadow Strike happened previously.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh. Let's see what Soikov's able to do with it. They're setting up top already, though, from Into the Breach.
Radiant's middle tower.
With a wrap around from Supreme on the right. They're going to be able to cancel the charge. Addy's going to be in with the Doom as well. He was able to activate the BKB prior, so some of the damage is going to be mitigated. It's where the Sonic Wave's able to come into play, but it's not enough yet. Zube can repair some of the damage off the back of the Greaves, but Zani, he'll get the finishing blow onto both the members, and now they'll get the clockwork as well. So Ivy, some signs of life for them, and finally their first tier 1 tower of the game as well.
I mean, there's the impact of the Aghanims, right? Just using that Shadow Strike, you were asking for AoE damage to come through, and if they're going to clump together on Into the Breach, that Aghs on the Quap is going to provide everything that you could possibly want. Just all those screams of pain coming out throughout the team fight allows them to really nullify the effect of a lot more of these defensive items, right? You've just got the Greaves so far, but maybe this is going to be Into the Breach saying, all right, we're not going to take another fight without the pipe because we're a little bit scared of what Quap's going to be able to do to us. In the meantime, though, she'll have finished up the Kaya Sanj, so probably has just as much of a damage increase for herself that you're looking to block up with that pipe. They might even look to Roshan off the back of this. Why not? Met her up in 3 seconds. They had to use a lot of big cooldowns on that previous fight. So just go for it. Play around this bottom side of the map, perhaps with one hero with the Aegis that the rest of the team can play up around top. You know that if worst comes to worst, you could TP down to the bottom side with that twin gate. And look to extend this. Well, it's only a 1k net worth lead, actually.
Ivy, they're looking for an objective, but not the Roche one to defend her. They want this Tormentor for them. Cuban Vicento falling very low, but it's going to be the Wind Ranger that gets the shard. So pretty nice one for her to play with. Got the Gale Force now that can help hold people into place with the Doom, and it looks like instantly off the back of that Aegis getting claimed, Atake is going to try and take their own Tormentor as well.
Take it pretty damn fast with a TB. Here's the clock. All right, more vision. Always feels pretty good to be able to find out that Morphling if he's farming along those side lanes.
Clock's pretty farmed, dude. He's almost got a Scepter.
I wonder if TB thought that that shard would go to him just based on the chat wheels coming through. Immersion, just laughing. Ateka asking for a little bit of help. They did buff up the Demon Zeal. A little bit of extra damage and movement speed. An extra 15, I believe.
Did kind of feel like an underwhelming shard, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it makes you not completely useless without the metaform, I guess. But, I mean, maybe now it's actually going to be pretty big value considering you want to be moving around the map a lot more, picking a lot more of that farm up, and it just lets you get into that next item a little bit quicker. It's closing in on the Lincolns for himself, though. Again, I don't mind him buying it now. This is the time to do it. After you've already played on the bottom side of the map, you've secured Roshan for yourself, you've enabled yourself to farm a little bit more aggressively,
Dire's top tower
as well as
is
the rest
under
of your
attack.
team, and you need to make sure that you're ready to address the Morphling. But even in the next few team fights, right, if he's able to get up to level 18, Doom's really the only thing that you're worried about if you've got this Lincoln's available. So you're not even needing to consider that they're going to waste one to be able to use the other. So even more incentive to get aggressive now.
And
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
they're not going to have the greatest way for Doom to get into the middle. So, I mean, he's going blink next item.
Here we go.
But you're going to need someone else to be able to pop the Lincolns as well. So we'll see. That's still a while away and into the breach. They're ready to fight, though.
Smoking up as a
There
team.
you go.
They would love to catch Stoikov, but I'm pretty sure he got a brief glimpse of the Primal Beast, so he's going to back off.
Cento's trying to leap on away. You'd want a bit more of a juicier kill than just the Enchantress. They might have got a glimpse of Zani. Yep, hookshot on forward. The Morphling, they're in a lot of trouble.
He's
Cogs to
morphed.
try and set up for the arrow. But with the Ice Blast being off the mark, Zani should be okay. They're pretty close to an objective, so the rest of Radiant, they're starting to funnel into the area.
Zani's stuck.
Zani's somehow blocked at the moment, so they're not going to have him for a couple of seconds till the waveforms back up as Oteka still looking to stand strong. He's got that meta activated, Aegis as well to work with. They need to play cautious, continue to have their distance, avoid the Terrorblade at all costs.
I think you just got to give this up. It's a tier 1, not the worst objective to be able to give up 23, 25 minutes into the game. And, I mean, I think without the Blink Dagger on the Doom, you're just lacking that instant jump, you know? You can't rely on Quap to be able to do everything. You can't rely on Zani to be able to make that good re-initiation after he was the first one that got
Addy.
gone onto.
Could be a window still, even though they
Yeah.
even though they got Aegis, right? You meta's on cooldown, and Radiant, they didn't have to commit too heavily. So, not going to be able to find a fight though into the breach, looking to pay some respect and back on off. They know that they are probably the weakest side still with this meta on cooldown, but we've got an even game. Into the breach, they've got double the kill score of Ivy, but Radiant have done quite the job to be able to stall this game out. And, I mean, this is just a classic Doom thing. This artificial net worth that you're able to find off the back of the steroid. In the Devour, the Midas, so he's well and truly caught up. And honestly, quite impressed the fact that Queen of Pain's net worth is where it is as well. Stoikov was struggling for a little bit off the back of the lane, but he's had some pretty good team fights to really help out with his progression.
This is a pretty early rush of the overclocking as well by Immersion on the Clockwork. So I'm almost wondering, like, has he found out this trio of neutral camps that he's going to be able to fire that rocket flare out across the map to be able to get maximum value out of it, you know? Just farm up as much of the map as possible. Maybe see one down towards the Radiant outpost on the very bottom side of the map, but outside of that, I'm really not seeing too many hero camps that he's going to be able to farm 2 at a time. Maybe top left underneath where the Dire tier 1 tower used to be.
What else do you reckon he could have been considering instead of the Scepter this game?
Honestly, it's not even a great BKB game. Maybe a Halberd, I guess, just to try and force something out of the Morphling, force him to play a little bit more defensively. Wouldn't have hated a Glimmer Cape for him, just to, again, continue to play on the front side. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Clockwork Eggs, alright?
Oh, yeah. No, it's just, what else may have been the route? I mean, so it's always trying to get into the minds of him, what else he may have been considering to be able to work for them in this game. I mean, he didn't really need the utility, right? Because we see AA go for it. Like I was thinking, maybe you could have freed up the Ancient Apparition build and gone Pipe instead.
Yeah.
So Jibe didn't have to go down that route.
I'm wondering, though, like, what is he going to do in these fights? Like, I would have hated to see him go Boots of Bearing, for example, you know, against a lot of the slows that they've got. Would be feeling quite nice, but can he
Doom's a
get the
good
right sort
target.
of jump? I would love to catch that Doom, and they might see... There we go. Rocket could look to come out
Don't
for a
see
lot
him
of that
just
vision.
yet. Now they get the glimpse, Supreme. Hey, they're going to be able to jump someone else as well to the northern side. So the simultaneous initiation, well, it's going to pay off huge here for Into the Breach. Although Cube's turning it back around to the Clockwork with his freshly completed MKB. Oh, he didn't get the finishing blow, and Supreme is going to be able to help in there to keep Immersion alive. The Clockwork limping away, and in the end, Into the Breach now It's a fight they took on their own territory, though, so they're not really going to be able to get any objectives off the back of that.
Doom had used the Midas as well. Always feels great. But yeah, again, like, you didn't get massive value out of that rocket flare, right? It's not like there's many different units that you're going to need to deal with the battery assault. It's not like you're going to be right-clicking that massively inside of your cogs as well, right? You've gone this very utility vision sort of build, I guess, on immersion. The clockwork, honestly, even in the draft, felt like a little bit of a deny pick away from enabling Supreme on this Primal Beast. And, of course, he always wants to be the one to be able to find this Morphling. I really wouldn't hate to see him queue up something like a Scythe of Vice next on Immersion. I know it's greedy, but you need an additional bit of lockdown for this Morph. Even protects you if he decides to go into that Aghanim Shard for himself.
He might not even be an issue in the fights, though, dude. Taker is just out farming him. 5,000 net worth lead now. It's even growing. He's got a full item. Like we were just speaking about the Lincolns. He's got a butterfly now. I don't know how they're going to address him. It's going to come down to if they can even get the Doom off on him, but that Lincolns is going to prevent that. Maybe the damage from the Queen of Pain, but are we even going to feel the value of the Morphling? Like Zani is trying to keep up in farm, but he just doesn't have the capability like the TV does.
I think it's another one of these instances where you just need to, like, not focus on TB. Try and kill everyone else around him. And maybe it's even going to be one of those things where you actually are looking to go into morphing Supreme instead of the TB. Yeah, it sucks that TB is still going to do a lot of damage onto you, but it doesn't feel too bad to steal 40% status resistance either.
Gonna have to get very crafty here from Ivy. Somehow find the way back in. And is there any pick-up potential for Coop, who actually will get scouted out now for respect? Well, there's the pick-up potential. A nice little injection of gold and experience. He's still going for the Lotuses there, and a little bit greedy. Immersion Supreme's going to be able to shut that down, but I guess you see instantly Ivy with the other side of the map. Addy's going to be able to get confirmation that he can freely push in this mid-wave. Zani's going to be able to get another wave up top as well. So it's just, we're going to be looking towards that second Roshan now, right?
Yep. But again, Into the Breach can just farm. They've got the lead. It's slowly extending. Supreme is going into the Scythe of Vice that I was wanting them to pick up on Into the Breach. I really wouldn't hate to see Clock go, looks like he's bought a Soul Ring, but just go Boots of Bearing after that point. It makes a lot of sense, right? You're always going to have the Tranquil Regeneration active. Hopefully there's not any big lag coming through. Seems like they might. But it just allows you to stay out on the map a little bit longer. Hopefully everything's okay.
Reason? Question mark?
Looks like Ench wants to scale. Going into an MKB for herself as well.
Damn. I mean, you mentioned if like Enchantress with the pure damage versus TB, if you can get those, yeah, that's a big if, right? Like it's not going to be too easy, but it's a pipe dream. I mean, it's a big reason why the Wind Ranger went that route, but we haven't really seen her true potential so far this game.
I mean, if she could keep stealing these TB illusions and just using those to farm up the creep waves, like she just took 2 waves at bottom off of enchanting the TB illusion, she's going to feel very happy. It's a nice way to be able to pop the Lincolns from afar as well. If you've got the vision to be able to potentially catch out the TB, just enchant an illusion.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Should work, I think, actually. Maybe it's just the Ags. On the Morphling Ags that uses the Lincoln's block, rather than just enchant or anything else like that.
No, well, we got that second Roche up now. And looks like Dire have gotten pretty good control of it down bottom. Probably, you can't give up this for free, right, on Ivy?
What's your concern? That you're going to pop everything and they might die once, but then they're just going to run at you again? Because it's not like it's giving Shard. It's not like it's giving us free Scepter or anything like that. If it was free Scepter, then I would be worried, because then suddenly Oteka feels like he's not bound by this this meta. Like, he's not even popping it now. He doesn't have Demon Zeal. He's just able to right-click because of how crazily farmed he is.
They're going to smoke bottom. They'll be a little bit too late to contest it, but they might be able to get themselves set up on a higher ground to still take the fight. See what the call is going to be.
Dire's middle tower is
I'm
under
going to try and run headfirst into the breach with this Aegis advantage. I suppose we'll use the farm, so I'm not going to have it if a fight does actually break out shortly.
He's going into his scythe as well on Zube. I think he realizes that he's going to be one of the main targets for the Morphling in particular. At the end of the day, you are still just an ancient apparition.
Oh, that's a great rocket flare.
Yeah. It also
Sees all
slows now as
three of
well,
them.
remember. 0.4 seconds, you get that 100% slow onto you. So it's going
Oh my
to
God.
slow them down from running away. Primal Beast may be looking to try and connect off the back of this Moonlight Shadow, but they Delta split and they're all able to get away. Even shoving in this mid lane a little bit is the Doom. Has to be careful, though.
Whoa, Addy. Great use of the onslaught as well. Going for the control stop. Addy still will be able to TP out, it looks like, to the chain control. Wasn't there. It was a BKB, I suppose, expended between both heroes, so nothing really too crazy. Won or lost from either side.
I mean, you'd say Ivy's got the win there, right? They shove out the top lane, they shove out bottom a little bit, you don't die on anyone, Morphling's able to get a little bit more farm towards the Lincolns of his own. That's really the main concern that you're worried about, and then wait, just a little bit of extra time removed from that Aegis. No lane's pushed in far enough, though. I think. Okay, the backdoor protection is gone, I guess.
See how they can mount the defense, or even keeping the Lincolns over. But he's got double Lincolns now, thanks to Supreme. Oh, it is not going to be a fun time to be able to address him. Do you want to start onto the Enchantress, though? Could be a bit of a bait. Vincento trying to put himself in a position where he can force into the breach to go for him instead of some of the other more valuable members.
Decent nice blast. Clips onto a few. But again, they don't need to go in just yet, right? You've got a TB, he popped the meta, just wait for it to come back off cooldown. You're still going to have a good 40 seconds left, maybe one more use of the Metamorphosis to be able to push into another lane. It's just about setting things up to deny a lot of the farm away that Ivy might be looking to get, but it's a full-on smoke that might catch them out.
Yeah, they're going to try and take their Tormentor.
They know. They know this is going on.
Meta on cooldown. Look at the wraparound from
target.
Addy. He's going to try and find an angle for the Doom, but it's Supreme that gets the start. If they're able to bring him down, it's a lot of their teamfight control, and they won't get the ultimate out. What's the call now for Ivy? Do you still want to consider about taking the team fight? The take is on to Zani. The Morphling just unable to get any damage out. Very hesitant with his positioning currently. Finally will turn to try and beat into a taker. They've lost some of their supporting class. They're soon to lose the Terrorblade as well. They're just going to turn to Supreme, looking to avoid the Terrorblade at all costs. Supreme's going to go down. A taker, he'll follow very shortly afterwards. There's nothing they can do off the back of the respawn, completely surrounding him. Doom as well. Why not use it to help secure the kill as Ivy finally, some signs of life from them. They get 4 members and they only lost the Doom in that engagement. What a beautiful team fight.
I'm a little surprised Into the Breach got caught out there. They should have known that was coming. It was a full-on smoke, but they placed the Observer Ward on that high ground right next to the Ob Sentry combo. So they should have known that they've got a few seconds to be able to get out, and they just ended up running into Ivy as opposed to splitting off towards that left-hand side.
It's your ideal fight for Into the Breach. You get Addy out of the fight. Doom is not available. But I'm just trying to see what went wrong from there. Jibe got caught out to start the fight as well, so you didn't have the Ice Blast to look to deal with the Morphling, and we saw what Zani was able to do once he wasn't really counted inside that engagement.
That's the big thing. I mean, it's not even just the Ice Blast, right? He's the one holding onto the Scythe of Ice, so there's nothing really stopping the Morphling from just diving in super deep and doing whatever the hell he wants. And then, more importantly, they focus the TB last. That's what I like the best about this this movement. They know what they're capable of taking out, and they know that the TB, if you just rally behind him, he's going to force way too much damage back your way.
And off the back of that fight from Ivy, that had a little bit of time to heal up and then get back on their side of the map. So they claim their own Tormentor. It was a Doom that was able to get the shard into the breach off their own respawn. They're also going to get a shard as well. So Jibe now will be playing with that new Ice Blast, which provides the 60% of the cold fee.
Nice to have that little bit of an extra stun, especially prior to Morphling picking up the Aghanim Shard for himself. Maybe the next Tormentor that goes down, he'll get it. 50-50 chance between him and the Enchantress.
There's a DD though for this fight. Uh-oh. Panic and Silver Edge immersion. Well, keep in mind, Addy brought back, so there's a pretty high value target if you're going to be able to kill him off. Doom still on cooldown for 5 seconds. He won't have an opportunity to activate the BKB. Addy goes down, and the Queen of Pain jumped into the ultimate, so Zibe found the cold feet. All they needed was a little bit of stun, and now they're in shambles. Retreat's been caught, but they won't be able to escape. Triple kill for a taker. The DD just tears them up.
And the lane's pushed in the mid lane as well, and you've still got a healthy amount of duration on this meta. Really doesn't feel like they can do anything to be able to stop this other than pop the glyph, maybe force the creep wave back enough away. Zani, I mean, you have to go for a ballsy sort of play in this sort of situation because Otaker's just going to take your base.
Meta's going to be out shortly.
It's like throwing a needle into a freaking rhino, man. It's not going to do anything.
Zani? I'd be able to get... Okay, looks like Creep just ate the arrow regardless, so they don't really care about the heroes. Taker and Supreme still going towards the buildings. I mean, Centaur kind of maybe wants to throw his life away so they deal with him instead of the barracks, but the call's been made from into the breach. Yeah, objective-based gaming for Otaker. They're going to be able to get the Mega Creeps now, and Radiant will very much struggle against dealing with these.
Yeah, not the greatest lineup at being able to do that. I mean, they've been able to finish up 1 MKB. They're very close to being able to get Zani's. About 1,500 gold away from the Enchantresses, but it's still not going to be enough. Otaker is way too big, way too strong, and they've finally got enough ways to be able to deal with this Morphling. Again, multiple sides of Vice were really what sealed the deal for me, just to be able to provide that threat to maybe make the Morphling play a little bit more on the strength attributes, so people don't die off the initiation, but... It was just that catch that really set it all up, wasn't it? The dieback on the Doom, and then you always had the +1 advantage.
Yeah, I'm not sure we have an opportunity to actually watch that team fight back at the triangle, but actually, no, we definitely do not now. Ivy there. Yeah, they're looking to smoke. Just walk it down. You take the fight, maybe you go crazy.
Look at Clock, though. He's just spamming out those rocket flares. He's keeping all of these lanes pushed in so that, you know, they're just going to push back into you. You're already having to deal with Megas, but now you've got to deal with the creeps coming in at an even faster rate. Won't be able to find anyone.
Yeah, they're just going to group up as well.
3 seconds left on the smoke. Who can they find? Doesn't seem like anyone.
Cube?
He's going to be revealed. They
see Shibe. The rest of the team's really far away, and he's just going to die before they can even get close to connecting. And now instantly Ivy, they need to tuck the tail and look to run. But if your base is in shambles as well, you've got to make the call. One final stand. Donnie's got to try and do his best, but the Ice Blast connected onto the Morphling. And as soon as that's the case, the team fight is just over. There's no possibility for the Morphling to turn it around with that ultimate on the mark. 3 are down without a buyback, and yeah, it's over. 4 gone without a buyback. Into the breach. They're going to be able to take game 1 here. They made him work for it in the end. It was back and forth, but 41 minutes in, it looks like they're going to be able to do it.
They want to kill this Morphling as well. Why not? You're going to have the Primal Beast wanting to use the Pulverize into the Scythe of Vice, but the base is going to die before they even get the chance to. Pretty